I'm hoping that Ricky Knox is nearby for the next session. There he is at the back. And Ricky's going to be talking to us about how does a good bank make money, which is a very interesting topic. And I'm going to hand over to Ricky now.
Super. Yeah, I got Mike. Cool. Thanks. Thanks, Ryan. Thank you very much. Cheers. Hey, guys. How you doing? How's the session been so far today? Busy. I thought you guys were going to get a coffee break. It's a little unfair. Keep you straight on. So give me a wonderful topic today. Maybe just sort of get to know my audience a tiny bit first, which is how many people work for an alternative lender right now? Okay, good. Sort of most of the audience, what we're expecting from AltFi. Good to hear. And what about, do we have advisors, lawyers, bankers here as well? A few of them? Okay. And how many people are in any way interested in neobanks? Because if there isn't a lot of hands here, I better go. Okay, maybe a quarter. The rest of you can go and have coffee, by the way. You don't have to learn anything about this. So what I've pulled together today for us is a little presentation describing a little bit about the different business models of some of the what are sort of, I think, inaccurately called neobanks. But I'll start off with a controversial statement. I wouldn't include in that peer group Revolut for the moment. They're not yet a bank. They're working on it. They've got an application in for a license, but as yet they don't have a right to take depositors' money, and so they're not yet a bank. And that's pretty relevant to what I'm going to talk about today. But first of all, wanted to introduce myself briefly. Do I have any right to talk to you? Probably not very much right to talk to you guys today, but I have done a number of businesses, built a number of businesses in and around the fintech space. GSM Systems, actually a telco business. Small World Financial Services is the 6th largest remittance business in the world that I built with Michael Kent and Nick Day, who's still the CEO. Then set up Asimo with Mike. Mike still runs that business. Asimo is one of the faster growing digital remittance businesses, so you can send money home to your family via mobile or internet. And then I teamed up with Matt Cooper over here to help set up Tandem. Matt was one of the founders of Capital One in the States. Very experienced guy in banking. Cap One was briefly a bank in the UK, but is about the 10th largest bank in the US by assets. So Matt had a little more experience than I do in the actual banking space. But one thing, and apologies to Anne here because I don't have a slide on Starling, and if I'd known she was in the room, I would have put one in here. But when we set out to build a bank, we did a slightly unusual thing. We invited a group of 10,000, 11,000 customers to come and help us design the bank, and did a whole load of human-centered design research to actually try and understand what were the key pain points that customers had. Because of course, everybody out there in the big banks was saying, "Oh no, everyone loves their bank. It's fine. They haven't left, and there's only 3% churn a year. Therefore, everyone's super happy." But we all know, or at least when I sit down at a dinner party with somebody and go, "Hey, what's the last time you had with your bank?" They mostly go, "Oh yeah, that was terrible." But so there were three things jobs to be done that we really felt were not being answered. Personalize it for me, keep on top of it for me, and make it no hassle. So I'm going to use Adam as an example of personalize it for me, although I should really have put Starling in here because Adam, controversially I'm going to say, currently only has mortgages and fixed term saver, which makes it a digital building society. But they have basically allowed you to customize your logo and call your bank Lucy's Bank, or if your name's not Lucy, someone else's bank. Monzo is doing a good job of keeping top of it for me. So is Starling. Starling had the first sort of digital current account in the UK. Monzo started with a prepaid card and moved across to a digital current account. But customers both of Starling and Monzo, I think, would agree that keeping on top of their money and actually making sure they don't run out of it is a key service that the banks do not provide today that these banks are beginning to provide. And it's when we did our customer research, it was one of those areas where people really felt that they were being underserved by their banks. So What's Tandem? So the third one, make it no hassle. So Tandem should be explained is we currently run a credit card and an aggregation service, which allows you to aggregate all of your banks in one place, which we then analyze and figure out if there's any ways we can save you money, if there's anything we can, for example, if you're about to go into your overdraft, we'll tap you on the shoulder, possibly put some more money in your account. And we provide a credit card that allows you to spend on a day-to-day basis. One of the best cards in the market for travel, in case you were thinking about getting one. So it pays 0.5% cash back and gives you no fees abroad, either on ATM or any payments. And then we use a system, so we also help keep track of where you are and how much you've got left to spend prior to your payday. And then we provide a series of highlights that come off the transactions out of your existing accounts or off your credit card that help you manage your money more easily and do it in an effortless way where we can keep you within the ecosystem and allow you to optimize your finances, whether that's moving some money aside into an account where it'll earn more interest, whether it's preventing you running out of money at the end of the month, whether it's even looking at your utility bills and figuring out that we can save you a bit of money there and executing that within the app. But the question here was, how does a good bank make money? And I'm going to apologize because I'm slightly teaching how to suck eggs with this slide. But the key thing about being a bank, and this is where Revolut isn't one, is you have a license to take deposits. That's somebody's deposit. And it allows people to put a deposit into your bank, and you pay them interest. And in the case of Tandem, we're paying about 1.9% right now. So you get a good rate of interest. And this is the activity that's regulated. So you're only allowed to call yourself a bank if you've got a banking license. Now, there's actually no such thing as a banking license. It's called a deposit-taking permission. And that's because you're allowed to take deposits. So the key to the word bank is deposit-taking. And then the other side of the balance sheet, and this is an interesting one because, here's where you see sort of a bit of departure between the different neobanks or the different next generation banks, as I like to call them. And the truth is that this is where the money is made right now. I don't think a genius to figure out that 2% interest is slightly more than the Bank of England rate of 0.5%. So I'm losing money on deposits technically from a base rate perspective. But I make money, in my case, through lending out via credit cards, through lending out right now via third-party loans, not my own. And we currently have a mortgage portfolio at Tandem. We acquired a bank called Harrods Bank just after the turn of the year and have quite have a sort of 350 or some £1 million mortgage portfolio, which we make interest on. This is my main answer to the question, which is, the answer is, I think it's perfectly honest and legitimate way for a bank to make money is taking deposits from one guy and lending them out to the other. And why do we charge a margin in the middle? We charge a margin because we take risk, because when this guy doesn't pay back, first of all, I guarantee it, and I pay the bad debts, and then if I disappear, the government backs it up. So you've got a double insurance policy, both from the bank and my significant capital reserves, and then from the Bank of England if I don't. So how does a good bank make money? Well, what does bank mean? Bank means take people's deposits and basically insure them from risk. Yes, you absolutely could go on a peer-to-peer platform, and there's probably quite a few of them present here in the room, and give it directly to Joe. If you gave it directly to Joe and he buggered off, you'd be a bit upset because you lost all your money. If you use a peer-to-peer platform, you may be able to spread that risk amongst multiple lenders and therefore mitigate that risk somewhat. But if you go to a bank, you've got my full guarantee you're not going to lose a penny, and then on top of that, you've got the government's guarantee, and that's why I pay 2% rather than 4 or 5% that you might get on a peer-to-peer lender. So this is the core answer to the question. However, it's worth noting that the next generation banks have actually centered more around marketplace models. So it's an important one because investors used to ask me when we started off on this game, why do you need a banking license to do this? And it's a legitimate question because there are plenty of marketplaces out there. In fact, most of you guys in the room probably call yourselves a marketplace where you could sell anything. In fact, all you need to do is set up a website and you could be selling other people's products and services. But I think the point here is that we are not setting up marketplaces just in order to sell shit. We're setting up marketplaces in order to serve customer needs better. And so now doing that effectively is a fairly challenging thing. But so you've got Monzo and Sterling up here who are centering on owning the day-to-day current account, and Anne's up next, so she can tell you if I get anything wrong. They then can provide non-banking partner products, cards, savings, mortgages from other people. They do provide their own overdraft, so there's an element of lending there in the business model. But there's also an element of reselling a number of other people's products. Now, the interesting thing is, as this evolves, we'll see what customers actually want. Because one of the challenges here is when you're selling other people's products, you heard Revolut asserting very vigorously that customers definitely want pay-per-day travel insurance. However, their pay-per-day travel insurance costs about 6 times as much as an annual policy, so for the average traveler. So you could say, what are they doing? Are they either A, really serving the customer well? Because let's be honest, actually we did the customer research as well, and customers do want pay-per-day. It seems really convenient, and it's really easy, but they're paying a shitload more. So what might Tandem do? We might offer an annual policy rather than a day-by-day policy, and actually try and save you money and get the underlying piece. Tandem offers a hybrid model, so we have savings, we have mortgages, we have credit cards, we have a number of our own financial products. We also actually offer other people's products in these categories as well, and that should include credit cards, although that's going live shortly, as well as offering to switch your utility bills or your mobile contract or whatever else it may be. Worth noting, there's an outlier here, which is Adam, which really only offers 2 financial products, and to date doesn't offer anything in either the transactional banking space, in either cards or current accounts, nor in the non-banking partner products. Now, they did intend to offer a current account, and they have discussed coming out with a aggregation service that would provide a proxy current account. You'll notice here we're obviously using aggregation to allow you to operate your third-party card through that. So the difference, though, for us is that for Tandem, the marketplace is actually primarily about something that we bang on about called customer lifetime benefit, which is Tandem thinks of itself as a purpose-driven organization. That's why we call ourselves a good bank. And we believe that the marketplace can act to improve customers' finances. But you have to be pretty responsible about that, because if you put the wrong products in, you might end up damaging customers' finances. And to be honest, if you put the products that are going to make you money in there, you have a problem that those guys don't pay you very much commission. For example, if you offer the cheapest utility provider, he doesn't pay you very much for a new customer contract. If you provide British Gas, for example, as Barclays did when they did a utility switching service, you get a massive commission, because actually you're going to the most expensive provider in the market. Apologies to anyone from British Gas. They do have some cheap tariffs as well. But if you look here, obviously there's a number of people who do marketplaces. You've got, it's got some odd characters in price comparison websites. Forget those people inside there. They're not price comparison websites. Anyway, I had this made for me over the weekend, and I didn't check that properly. But anyway, you guys know who the PCWs are, compared market, et cetera, et cetera. These guys do create a marketplace, but have that inherent challenge, which is, sometimes you go on MoneySupermarket, and it's actually been allowed a bit more now. You don't see whole of market. Some of them don't even let you see whole of market now. They actually just show you the guys who they've got a really good cushy deal and are going to pay them loads of money. Revolut has a number of products, and Sterling actually has been, I would say, the leader in this space from a neobank perspective, in that they have gone out there and signed a huge number of partners. And when you look across most of these partners, Yo-Yo I'm also an investor in, so I declare my interest there, but most of them are cool fintechs that are actually going to help you in some way with your finances. The challenge, and the thing that frankly isn't known by any of us right now, is to what degree can we provide an integrated experience where customers are genuinely going to cross-sell at really high numbers across into these other products. From a Tandem point of view, it doesn't really make any difference to the way we make money, but we want to do it to drive customer lifetime benefit. And why are we not operating a marketplace model? Well, this is a simple answer on this slide. Here are the various different revenue pools that sit across the different UK products. It's a little random because you got to decide how much interest margin you put in here. That's obviously indicated as positive, which reflects a transfer pricing assumption. But the point here is these are very big markets, £53 billion of revenue. But the commission structure across these different markets is actually different market by market, but also is a significantly smaller pool than the overall pool. Now, this neglects one thing, which is you can also sell things that aren't financial products in your marketplace, but obviously means that the revenue opportunity when we were looking at it was very much significantly smaller than the revenue pool in financial products. But ultimately, and I have put Revolut on here, so having dissed them here, but the truth is that lots of different models may be successful here. So when you get to 1.5 million customers, slightly less than that, 1 million active, that Revolut have, or even the 500,000 current accounts that Monzo has, you don't have to make an awful lot of money per customer to cover your overheads. So I hear a lot of argument from financial investors, oh no, these guys are never going to make money. That's a load of crap. These guys are going to be profitable and way before you think they're going to be profitable. And they're going to present a real and present challenge to the banks, which will be entirely evident within about 12 months' time. But in number 26, 850,000 customers. Again, you don't have to make a lot in the marketplace to actually be able to make these models function. And you have also the overdraft interest, which, as a reminder, is actually a decent-sized marketplace in and of itself. So yeah, I think the answer here is, how does a good bank make money? The answer for us is a good bank makes money in doing the honest business of banking, which is taking one guy's deposits and lending them out to somebody else. But also make sure it backs its good bank credentials by driving a marketplace that really drives value for customers primarily. So that's it for today. I don't know whether we had a couple questions here. Do I have time for any questions? Yep, I got time for a couple. Yes, the first one. I hope that one's come across during the latter half of the presentation. Tandem does have a very important duty of care. And it's not just a duty of care. If Tandem offers you crappy partners that you don't want to work with, that don't save you money, that don't get the best outcomes for you, then no one's going to buy Tandem. So decision to acquire Parity, fucking awesome team. Matt was in here earlier. How did we going to be to lifetime to customers? This is, look, I mean, it doesn't look like we're limiting their options because a lot of what we do is price comparison, but what we're discovering is customers find price comparison a little bit more tedious and they convert in much lower numbers. But however, the main way I communicate it is by trying to do it. And the main way you can try and communicate that you mean it and that you're recommending the best products for them is actually deliver that for them in the marketplace. Yeah, I mean, that's another question there, perceived conflict of interest. I think that's a challenge which would be greater if we placed greater reliance on that, on that revenue stream. I mean, we have pretty significant revenues today. We're not profitable yet, but we're not that far off either. But I can say that today, the vast majority of our revenues come from that honest business of banking and do not come from that side of things. So if there's no last questions, no last real-world questions, I'm going to say thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.